Big Red.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Our lives only have so much time. But if you smoke, you have less. Your life could be 10 years shorter. And the time you do have is often filled with health problems. Shortness of breath, asthma, COPD, and cancer. But the minute you quit, your body starts healing.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Link to Literacy is gearing up for our second annual Wordstock event at Antelope Park on Saturday, August 24th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is a community-wide book swap with a festival feel located near the playground with a free bookstore in the enclosed shelter. It's fun for the entire family and for all ages. You'll enjoy food trucks, live music, kids' activities, a reading corner with celebrity authors and narrators, and of course, free books for all kids and adults. Go to linktoliteracy.org to get the full story and then make plans to attend Wordstock.
Live from the 93.7 The Ticket studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Inside the Huddle with Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Fires a pass, and it's intercepted by the Huskers at the 25, Jay Foreman. And Foreman takes it down to the 19-yard line of Oklahoma. Another big play by the Blackshirts.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging.
Oh, here we go.
That's my bad there. He's got the wrong mic on.
Yeah. Happy Sunday, Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle. Brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging, 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. We'll handle all your imaging needs and put together a clear path for you to hopefully some good health. I see them quite often, but more importantly, Dr. Finn, Dr. Razdan, they do a great job. At least for me, I can definitely stand on business when it comes to what they have done individually and collectively as a group over there. And I've heard great things from a multitude of people I've sent over there. But it's week 2 of or week 3 actually, but the second scrimmage with the Huskers, which we'll dive into that a little bit. Just kind of I guess listening, trying to see what we got from Coach Rule's presser yesterday. But then more importantly, Harrison, I'm gonna do a three-part series on how to win a position, take somebody's position, and what the hardest thing is, Harrison, to do? Keep your damn position.
That's true.
Okay. And I think it's a good thing, because as we're leading up to the first game, if there is somebody that has won a position in camp, now I don't know if they have the 18 principles that I had and the help of my uncle and my dad that I had really as I was trying to compete in college and then recompete when I got to the NFL and then recompete again when I became a starter and not just a co-starter. And then as being a more like a person that people were coming in, or maybe they were looking to replace, like, because in the NFL, they're always looking to replace you. And how to you not only keep your job, but continue to progress. And so, and it's very, with this team, you got some known factors, some known guys, but then also there's a lot of competition, and it's not just for the starting positions. It's also for, especially on defense, the way Coach White and their staff has, at least last year, I think in that first 2 series, I think they played like 21 guys or something like that. It was a crazy number. So that lets you know you can earn reps, and you can go from like Mekhi Gobert just running down on special teams, getting in the game, making a play, and then you continue to progress, and then you play the next week on the road in Colorado, and you have the most tackles on the team, and then you're a jack of all trades, right? You can play every single position, and he's maybe in the line to maybe start this year, and maybe at least the first game, with Javen Wright being out indefinitely. So, you just never know when your time will be up, or when you're called into action, and then you have to be ready at all times. And so, anyways, the second scrimmage, I always say I said it last week, the first scrimmage is always the hardest. I would say the first game is always the hardest, for at least for me in my experience. And the first scrimmage is always the hardest because, you're probably a little sore, but then, it's a little bit more intense, and yeah, you've been thudding up, but now you got guys really running for real. And if you're a younger guy, going against a veteran guy or position group, they just have that little bit of an edge that they can turn it up a little bit, and that just comes from experience because you've been there, done that. Just imagine if you're a true freshman and you came in early enrollee. Yeah, you played in the spring game, but that's, the season's so far away, right? And I look at the spring game now as a celebration. You're putting on display how you had a good winter conditioning. You're seeing guys that you got out of the transfer portal, and you're showing little glimpses of what you improved on, and also obviously playing football, but it's not getting ready for when everything's on the line. That's why the first scrimmage is different. The intensity is different. Here's an example, even though it's the NFL, is Harrison. I look at the spring ball as kind of like off season in the NFL in mini camps, right? You get a lot more reps, as far as like me, I came in as I was just trying to make it on the team. You get a lot more reps. Yes, it's intense, but they're trying to teach you, right? So the biggest mistake you can make as a rookie or a young player is not having the intent to get better or the effort. Those are all controllable. So once you do that, they kind of, will work with some mistakes, because trust me, I made plenty of them as a young guy. But once and this is a wake up call to me. Once I got to training camp, the same coach that I looked at, just like I'm looking at you right now in our breakoff meetings with the rookies, linebackers and stuff, wasn't the same guy. I'm telling you.
Like intensity?
Oh yeah. Jobs is on the line. Everybody got families. Money's on the line. Look, we were, when I went to Buffalo, we were a playoff team. It was, we had a standard, and everything moves a lot faster. The patience for a rookie or a young guy not to know where to go, how to do it, not doing the things that you're supposed to do just to be a pro, let alone going out there and making plays, is not the patience level is cut 75%. And that's what makes the first scrimmage, I think, a little bit harder, even for guys that have played, because you haven't played football. You got to think the guys that have been on this team for, a couple of years, they hadn't played a game since, the day after Thanksgiving.
Yeah. That's kind of been the problem. We don't have to go into it, but
right.
The lack of bowling since 2016 is we've had long breaks.
Yeah. That's a known factor. But which this is also a known, what will not change is the fact, even if you played in January, right? Say you played a January 1. Well, you're still not really, now the spring game, and you do have some live stuff in the spring, but the intensity is different. So the intensity is still 8 months. You haven't done it for 8 months. So that's across the board. That is even for me when I was a senior. But I know how to get to that point a little bit faster than, say, Harrison came in and say you redshirted last year, you competed, during the spring, and you're still trying to find your way. I'm a veteran, you're not. So I think that's always the hardest one. And then week 2, you want to see some improvement. And so, Coach Rule said that, the first, I think he said Harrison, the first team offense got started a little slow, but then they had 2 long drives. I like the fact that he said that, because I think that also marries what he was saying that he wanted this team to be able to grind people out right now. And you got a pretty good defense you're going against, right? I'm sure it was good on good, I'm assuming, right? And so for them to sustain a drive is, now granted, it's still practice, but you can't, this is what I always wanted, like when you talk to some fans, well, we haven't done it in a game. Well, we ain't, you can't, it's like telling somebody that's qualified for a job you don't got experience. Well, the only way we get experience is by playing. So you only can evaluate off of what you see in practice. So for me, if since they have, or at least he said that they had 2 long drives, I look at it totally different. Now that's just from playing experience. I look at it, okay, well, look, you can walk and chew gum for a couple of series. That means you have the ability to get first downs against a pretty good defense, right? And a defensive coordinator and all that. That's a step in the right direction. And then number 2, I look at it like if you're able to drive the ball and have long drives, then that bodes well for it used to be the 4-minute drill, but actually it's the 6 minutes. That's essentially where the game is won and lost, right? 6 minutes before half, 6 minutes to end the game. So that's obviously a step in the right direction compared to not only last year, but years, past years. And so that's improvement. Now, also, you would like to, I didn't know if he said whether they scored or not. I'd like to get touchdowns, right? And that's also the next step. We get in the red zone. I think we got in the red zone enough where we got to get.
Yeah, we had some serious red zone woes. I think if not, I think we were at the bottom in the red zone.
Right. Last year.
Yeah, last year. Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't tell you what 2 years ago, but last year, I mean, you don't have to use your imagination. You could probably figure that one out in your head as to why.
Right.
Turnovers.
Sure. But I think red zone, if you just took the last snapshot, let's see, Coach Rule's been here 1 year. Let's just say even back to when, let's say the last year or 2 of Mike Riley through Frost, and even let's throw that. That's kind of been an issue. And I think red zone is the new. So probably when you were in high school, the big thing, at least from when I was in the pros, that was repped, talked about ad nauseum, and it's because of that dang Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, is take a shot area, right? And take a shot is this. There's 2 different, there's multiple ways that you have to deal with as a defender, but say you have a turnover at the 50 or around the 50. Well, within 1 or 2 plays, once they get over the 50, they're taking a shot. And you saw a lot more explosive plays, i.e., Randy Moss and all those guys going to work, right? And then you had Marvin Harrison, Torrey Holt, and all those Isaac. Really was taking over the league, right? And then here comes Gronk and those guys. That's how they're taking a shot. So first they were hitting you vertical on the outside, then they were hitting you down the middle. So that was a big deal, right? And then the next one is once a team started to drive over the 50, then you started to see more trick plays that led to take a shot, right? And then it might not have been in the initial series, then you would get it the next series. So that was a big deal for almost a decade, where defensive coordinators and defenders like myself had to really hone in on that.
Yeah. Well, even, Frost, I'll give him some of the credit. Like, you would see him do that pretty consistently.
Right.
Like, dial up some really unique plays.
Right.
When they got into that zone where they think they can go ahead and quote unquote take a shot. On those wheel routes, like delayed wheel route. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
He had those in the
getting
playbook.
Explosive plays. The one play that really comes to mind is Washington in his first year, the running back Maurice Washington, right? Up the first year up in Colorado. It was a delayed wheel route. It took it 70, 80 yards. Now, you probably came back to it too many times, but again, that's what that was the onus, right? At least in my opinion. Now you look at it, now the onus is on red zone and red zone concepts, defensively and offensively, and how to score points. You see it in the NFL all the time. Heck, me and Nick Sainer, we call high school games. We see it. It's so huge in high school state playoffs, right? And here's I'm jumping all over, but I'm just trying to explain. This is why Inside the Huddle is trying to be informative. We went and watched Millard South against Elkhorn South last year. And Millard South was explosive from 20 to anywhere. I mean, they had guys that house call you all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's what Elkhorn South did against them. They played deep, deep, deep. And then once they got in the red zone, Miller South didn't have an answer. So they couldn't score. Then they started to panic. So that's the change in the mind. That's how important red zone is. Red zone offense, concepts, and more importantly, execution.
So like the mind kind of shifted where like they were anticipating them to take a shot. So it's like, we'll keep you in front.
Yeah.
For as long as you can. When you get to the red zone, we'll adjust our defense more there.
Because there's nowhere you can't run. If you try to run a go route and you're on the 10,
you're
well, go
not
ahead.
A lot of room.
Yeah, run right out the end zone. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And everything condenses. Right. We saw it last year where, at the goal line, I'm not trying to rehash, bad memories, but we drive it down right before half, and Borkacher's wide open. It's pretty much you just dump it to him, and then you throw it, got an interception. That's a game changer play. So what I'm saying is red zone offense is not the new, but is very, very important, and getting points. Now, getting points every time is number one, but the teams that can get touchdowns, especially in big games or after a turnover or after a quick 3 and out at start a game or start a half, that's where you really start to see take the next step. And if you want a perfect example of a team that really, really, over the last at least 10 years plays well in the red zone and does some things, and obviously they're able to turn around and conventionally hand out the ball, is Iowa. They play excellent red zone. They play excellent defense anyways, excellent red zone defense, right? And good enough red zone offense. Obviously, kicking game, they always have a really good kicking game. They're able to put points on. And what does that do? That puts the pressure solely on me as a defender or a coordinator, offense and defense, because okay, well, might have to get more aggressive. What happens when you get more aggressive? You play right in Iowa's defense's hands, and you start getting more opportunities. The next thing you know, they get an explosive play, run after the catch. Boom! Now you down 13, 14 points against a defense that's ready to pin back. So it's complementary football, but then also red zone. You'd like to see them score more. Now, obviously, I wasn't there, and you don't, really get a practice report. But I think it's probably more positive when you hear them say that the first team offense and the first team defense got after it pretty good.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how the run game shakes out too, because that's going to be. I mean, I'd imagine red zone. That's huge. Yeah. You can look at the Bills last year until they got a new OC and figured out how to actually utilize James Cook. They were awful in the red zone. It was basically on Mahomes to make a throw. They're taking threes instead of touchdowns. Second half, they figured that out. Like you look at Michigan last year when they got in the red zone, they delivered every time because the run threat was so big, and McCarthy had to really make one pump fake, and he had an easy route every time.
Yeah.
Like if our run game, especially with the left tackle going out, it's gonna be interesting if that offensive line can be good enough. Because I just think that red zone's always brutal, especially if we don't really know if we can consistently get threes either right now. Yeah. We'll figure out how Alvano and how healthy he's going to be. But
yeah, I think, Alvano, I think he'll imagine he'll do better. I think he's built pretty solid upstairs.
Well, he had you pointed this out, I think last week, the amount of pressure he had because we couldn't score.
Right. And that's different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right. It's running out there, like, I was fortunate enough to have Chris Brown as a kicker. Chris Brown going out there knowing he's going to get, we getting touchdown kicking. It's a lot easier to warm up your leg kicking extra points. But yeah, that's a little different. But I just think it's just like everybody sees in Alex Henry making the kick at the end of, he's a, junior, senior year. Chris Brown being one of the greatest kickers, and all of them, have been through it, right? Brett Maher and everybody, right? They see everybody in year 4 and don't realize there probably were some kicking struggles early. And I'll give you a perfect example here of a Hall of Fame. I'm assuming he's going to end up being a Hall of Fame kicker, but he's probably, when he retired, was known as one of the most clutch kickers of all time. When I got to Buffalo, when we played New England, it'd always be like kind of Iowa. It would be, it'd be a white knuckle game. Mm-hmm. It was physical. We'd always play up at Foxborough, and it'd be crappy weather. It would just be like today, but just like 40 degrees.
Yeah,
like
just misty, cold,
just crappy.
Cloudy.
And we'd always play at like 3:30. So when you're leaving, by halftime it's pitch dark, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the funny thing about it, and I always tell people this, I remember playing up there my first 3 years. Yeah, because then, in my 4th year we had Greg. So my first 3 years, And even when we played at home, we'd always be on the sideline. Oh, Vinatieri is going to miss a crucial kick. I'm dead serious. Now it wasn't to the point that where they were going to cut him, but I felt comfortable over there. Like, hey, yeah, he ain't going to make it. Now we had Steve Christie who like had ice in his veins.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'll never forget this. I remember being out there and we played up there and we actually won, and we won up there. And this is before obviously they went on the run and sitting there and looking like how I'm looking out there right now and telling my other linebacker mate, Kenyatta Wright, who was a rookie. I was like, this dude gonna miss. He missed it last year. And it was at home for them.
Yeah, he missed.
And he missed it. And we end up getting the ball and going and scoring, and then they couldn't win because we got up by 2 scores. So the moral of the story is Adam Vinatieri had struggles.
Yeah, and he's great.
But then he worked through it,
mm-hmm.
and then he became clutch to the point that, heck, he won a Super Bowl for New England, the very first one, started the run. He's made a ton of other pressure kicks at Pittsburgh the couple years later where they made the run. And then he goes to the Colts and he's lights out then. So I'm saying for whether it's Hall or Alvano is like, it's going to take time, just.
Yeah.
Like
and we know Alvano can do it. I mean,
right.
if you watch the state
right.
championship, well, right. I think he drilled 3 of them.
6 or something.
Yeah.
And then six field goals in the game, right? Was it 6?
It might have been even more than
and
that.
then he hit like a long one, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, high school's different because you got 90,000 people. But I always tell people, even though I started as a freshman in all 4 years, the Jay Foreman you saw as a freshman and who I was as a player was nowhere near the guy that when I left. Now, I might have thought I was a dog then, but I was just, I was just like, I wasn't a puppy, but I was like, oh, yeah, he just hit his first growth spurt. And I was feeding off the real dogs. And then I kind of got to it, right? And so, for that, I think that'll be fine. I think, realistically, as far as the red zone offense, I like what you said, being able to run the ball conventionally. But then also that's just, what also is imperative is no procedure penalties, but then also trying to get 3+ yards on a run because that keeps you on schedule. There's nothing worse than being 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2 in the red zone because they're going to get a first down. And then as they get closer to the goal line, say you're first and goal at the 3,
mm-hmm.
well, you could just trip and get in there 3 times, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, as long as you don't get lit up backwards, you're going to fall forward, you're in.
As long as you don't allow direct access to the play, you're most likely going to score,
mm-hmm.
especially when you got, whether it's Gabe Irvin or Dante Dowdell or like, even Ramir, and you don't have to be overly big to be a goal line runner.
Yeah, look at Gus Edwards.
Right.
He's pretty big for the Ravens, but
he's not. But he's not
guys,
huge. He's not Derrick Henry,
uh-huh.
right? You know who the best guy at the goal line that I've ever seen, whether it's on tape, and this is in pros, is Marcus Allen.
Mm.
Now, Marcus Allen was 6'2", 215, but he wasn't like Christian Okoye or like a big physically imposing. He was a big guy, but he wasn't physically imposing. He just knew how to run the ball.
Well, look at Eckler,
right,
in the NFL,
right.
Like I think I don't remember. It was 2 seasons ago or even last season. I think it was 2 seasons ago. He led the league in touchdowns.
Right. Just on the sneak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like
or the man, what's the guy that Connor that's at Pittsburgh or that left Pittsburgh that went to Arizona? He made the Pro Bowl. He had like 18 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Right now, majority of them were 1 yard, but it's still 8. If you can run, if you know how to run in the red zone as a running back, right? That means you really, really study and embrace how to be a runner down there. You will be an asset. You will be almost as big or bigger asset than the guy that say he runs out there as the starter. And that's also a hidden thing that nobody talks about.
It's absolutely true though. I mean, you're not just saying it because you look in the NFL, how many teams got a guy when they get in those red zone situations that they
and
trust more.
He's coming.
Uh-huh.
He's coming. Like think about Reggie Bush and Lindell White when they're at USC. Reggie Bush do his thing, and if you can't tackle him, he's scoring. Mm-hmm. Well, here come Lindell. He's going to, but they know how to run down there, and you have to run differently. You got to take what you can get, and you got to get positive yards, and you got to keep moving the chain forward, and then that makes the passing concepts and the ability to call plays a lot easier for Marcus Satterfield, and then obviously Dylan Raiola, the quarterback, and everybody else. So, anyways. That's scrimmage number 2 thoughts and a little bit of thoughts of what it's like to be in camp. Next segment, we're going to dive into the first series of what it takes to take somebody's spot, Harrison. And there's no order either. It's just kind of just, and I've had this since, I was 19, 20 years old.
Oh, so that's okay.
Yeah.
That's a good tease then.
Yeah. So anyways, Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging. We'll be right back.
Riddle's Jewelry is excited to be celebrating 65 years. 65 years of so many incredible memories celebrating with each of your special moments. In celebration of the 65th Riddle's Jewelry anniversary, we will be offering up to 40% off all engagement rings and all diamond fashion jewelry. The excitement doesn't stop there. Riddle's Jewelry is also offering 18 months, 0% interest and $0 down financing on all qualifying purchases. Riddle's Jewelry has always been known for incredible customer service, one of the largest selections of engagement rings, and don't forget about the on-site jeweler. Come celebrate with us at Riddle's Jewelry, your one-stop diamond shop with exclusive Levian jewelry, Pandora Charm jewelry, and more. All at Riddle's inside Gateway Mall. At Fairway Meat Market, your family. And as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now through August 18th, enjoy USDA Choice Bone-In Ribeye Steak for $9.99 per pound. Fairway's Hickory Smoked Bacon for $4.99 per pound. Limited time only Green Hatch Chili Bratwurst for $4.99 per pound. And USDA Choice Beef Chuck Roast for $4.99 per pound. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine. Everyone should have a collection of something. For some, it's stamps or coins, expensive cars, or even watches. But for a lot of people, it's sports cards. And there's no better way to grow your collection than with the help of Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's first and only collector-first sports cards and memorabilia shop. Capital City Sports Cards connects collectors of all ages and demographics with unique collectibles sure to bring any collection to life, no matter the budget. Visit Capital City Sports Cards near 56th and Old Cheney or through their eBay storefront. Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's premier sports card and memorabilia store. Everyone should have a collection of something. For some, it's stamps or coins, expensive cars, or even watches. But for a lot of people, it's sports cards. And there's no better way to grow your collection than with the help of Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's first and only collector-first sports cards and memorabilia shop. Capital City Sports Cards connects collectors of all ages and demographics with unique collectibles sure to bring any collection to life, no matter the budget. Visit Capital City Sports Cards near 56th and Old Cheney or through their eBay storefront. Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's premier sports card and memorabilia store.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family. And as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now through August 18th, enjoy USDA Choice Bone-In Ribeye Steak for $9.99 per pound. Fairway's Hickory Smoked Bacon for $4.99 per pound. Limited time only Green Hatch Chili Bratwurst for $4.99 per pound. And USDA Choice Beef Chuck Roast for $4.99 per pound. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn. Summer concerts keep rolling at Pinewood Bowl with a great show on Wednesday, August 21st. Blue October headlines a trifecta of artists with Switchfoot and Matt Nathanson starting things off. Don't miss Blue October, Switchfoot, and Matt Nathanson on Wednesday, August 21st at Pinewood Bowl. Get tickets today at Ticketmaster.com.
Have you been accused of a crime? Is your freedom at stake? At Liberty Law Group, we are committed to the defense of liberty for those accused. Facing the court is stressful, overwhelming, and full of uncertainty. At Liberty Law Group, we believe in treating every person with respect, compassion, and understanding. When legal troubles are keeping you up, trust Liberty Law Group to fight your battles. To learn more, call 877-42-LIBERTY. That's 877-42-LIBERTY.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
Happy hour. Sipple and I walked by the offensive line. Sipple made a comment. Man, you just think that like the opportunity at generational wealth would make you want to get out there. And I thought about that with a lot of these guys, whether it's mentality purposes or their willingness to get their body right, compete. Just overall,
off the field, off the court, in the classroom, it's a competition. I mean, you've heard the quote, if you're not working, there's somebody else who is working.
Weekdays from 1 to 2 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Back to Inside the Huddle, sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging. Here is your host, Jay Foreman.
Well, we're back. Second segment, Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging. I guess a 3-part series. It's only six each week, and because we'll do like I guess a recap or whatever if we hear anything. And plus there'll always be college football news here as we move on. And how many days did we got before the first game? We
14, 13?
14. Wait, 13. 13 before our game, and then Colorado plays North Dakota State on Thursday. So that's
then they got
11 days.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Whatever. We're close. Okay? That's all I know. Anyways, I always tell people I was very fortunate to obviously, have a famous dad and obviously a good structure of uncles and stuff like that went on to play college football. And obviously it was led by my grandfather that served, and then obviously, he played basketball at Bowie State and played a little like minor league baseball or Negro League baseball. So it kind of had that foundation of it. But really, to be honest with you, learning how to compete is something I had to learn. What it's like really to be a competitor. I had it in me, but I didn't know how to bring it out, like how to go to it, what it really was. And so I would say like, my dad and my uncle, we call him Uncle Butch, mentally probably worked on it more than anything. And, I was fortunate enough to come in where I knew I needed a red shirt, and I was more than welcome to red. First of all, I was away from home. I wanted to party. So I needed to get bigger, faster, and stronger. I never lifted weights, and I've been over that story 10 million times. But then I was lucky enough to have like Troy Dumas and Clint Brown kind of be good on the spot leaders, kind of show me how to work and all this other stuff, but they couldn't show me how to compete. That came from, my family structure, and then obviously myself. And, when Troy and Clint leave, you start out 7th on the depth chart. My whole thing was first of all, when they put out the first depth chart, I wasn't on there because I was so down there.
You weren't even 7.
Right. You got to go. The first 2 guys, it's top 3 goes. I'm number 7. I ain't even on there, like on the paper. So that's embarrassing. So I had to find a way on how to gain an edge, and, get at least on the 3rd team. Heck, I remember the first 2 practices, man. I remember I got 5 plays, like of regular defense. But the first thing I really had to do, because number one, I was a running back in high school, played a couple games in safety. And safety's how I got, started getting looks, but never played linebacker before. So the first thing, if I was going to tell somebody, if you want to learn, gain a spot or gain an advantage or, find a way to beat somebody out, is really, really study film. Not watch film. Okay. I want to do not watch film. You watch TV, you watch Netflix, you watch your phone, you watch YouTube. Study film. And I could give you 3 different things. know your why. So for me, know why you're playing linebacker this way. Learn that. Study it. Understand the why. The coach is telling you, I need you to be aggressive in cover 8, at this part of the field versus the other part of the field. Know that. Know everyone else's why. Understand why in regular base defense in cover 3, if there's not a slot for that flat defender, why he's in a stack position, which allows you to be more aggressive in the run game and more aggressive to the flood side in the passing game. But that's all based off what Harrison would do if you're that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And understand also the why the cornerback will play that a little bit different versus, not if he has 2 to his side versus 1. Also, so you got to know what everybody else is doing, not just know what you're doing. The first thing you need to do is know what you're doing and why you're doing it in every single defense. And it could be, say like you just ran a regular, say Tony White, just say he just called his regular base 3-3-5 defense, he calls it base, right? Or Husker, right? So just say they have Husker, Husker, Texas. So that might be a TE stunt, right? So that's a base defense that has one little tag on it that you got to know and it's a totally different defense based on that, because it changes how you play your run fits, but then also it could change how you align for your pass, concepts as well, or pass coverage. And then that also leads into number 3, know why the defensive coordinator, or I call it the defensive coordinator why, right? No, you better study film on how he likes to call plays, how he wants them executed, and then also why he's calling certain things at certain parts of the field. So you got to really study film of yourself. You got to really, if you really want to be a good player, you got to really study film.
Yeah.
Number 2, unfortunately, for everybody that thinks they need to have a work-life balance as a college athlete, there are no off days. None. There are no off days. The days that you're resting, you can't turn it off.
So the mental health days, you're not counting those.
You're getting mentally healthy, but you know what else? Then you always like every hour got to check back into football.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just be off. If you're a football player, that's just who you are. It's how you eat. That's how you sleep. That's how you walk around every day. That's if you're a football player, to be honest with you, that's how you party and have fun. Because if you are, then you know that I can only have this certain amount of fun based on what I got to do tomorrow or whenever I'm back in it. That's just honest to God truth. There is no off days. You got to be in it to win it. Even when there's no practice, you got to be engaged in football. Period. Number 3, kind of goes with, without saying, stay ready so you don't got to get ready. And I learned it the hard way. Once you realize and understand what being in shape is, you will never want to be out of shape as an athlete. Harrison, I'll tell you this, I have not taken that with me as an adult, as an almost 50-year-old adult, but you know what? I felt like I've done it enough. I've been on revolt. Hey, I've done it all for this long through the pros. I'm just doing whatever I want now, right?
I'm sure AMI would prefer if you
got
a few runs in there.
I told you what Dr. Razin told me. He said, "Look, man, you're a 48-year-old man, but you got the body of an 80-year-old." That's the thanks, brother. That hit home. No, but stay ready so you don't have to get ready. That's physically and mentally, and I call it spiritually. You always have to be ready. Now, you're never gonna, like being in like tip-top game shape is one thing. Like as because you want to peak, right? But you can't, like after the season, you just like say like last year, you just can't take, or for instance, say when the last game when Mickey coached, and then obviously I think when the game broke, Matt Rule is the coach. I think it's something like that, right? So you got a new coach coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So say Matt Rule was named the coach on Monday, and then he probably not here. You're gonna take 6 weeks off until Coach Corey Campbell comes in and says, "All right, we got a weight program." You got to be in the gym. You can't just go home and not eat, not sleep, don't train and show up deflated and just, withered. You got to stay ready. Also, number 4, work on your craft before camp. And this is, it's not just drills or cones, right? Which is everybody looks great in the cones, right? Running around cones and doing, different footworks. That's great. Okay. Never saw Jerry Rice do that, right? But that's fine. He's only the best. He's only, in my opinion, the second best football player ever to grace the grass. Number one is LT. Jerry Rice is number two. I'm going defense anyways. So Jerry, you can be mad at, he wanted to fight the dude at the American Century. I like my chances against Jerry. No, I'm just playing. And it's not just drills. It's not just lifting and all that. For me as a linebacker, where I was able to get better as in coverage, whereas I had to go and fly and meet guys and get coverage in. I had to go against Billy Miller, who was a really good elusive tight end, and meet him and work on covering actually routes before I got to camp.
You and Barry Thompson, you go for an hour on this. Barry, he has his own thoughts, just even on 7-7, on a lot of the drills, a lot of the cone work that people do, and how it's good, but if you don't have the intention of somehow making it football related, because it's easy to go run route 7-on-7.
It is.
It's easy for the quarterback to sit there, just easily, just kind of pick out, go through the progressions when there's nothing else going on.
Right.
So
you got to make your training more practice and game like, and that's where I think I took the next step in my football career, and when I got to the pros, and I think it helped me beat people out and keep a job. You got to cover guys. You got to work on different. If I would try to add something to my repertoire, to my toolbox, I have to. You don't want to just show up at training camp and do it, because you might only get one chance, and so you don't have a lot of confidence in it. You see this a lot with basketball trainers. They'll get all these drills out there, and that's why I really like Thomas Villianco and Michi Johnson. Now I like everybody else, but those are the two I send my players there. So I don't want to hear anything like, "Oh, you didn't mention my name. I don't know you."
But you trust those two guys.
I trust those two. Now they've never came to me and tried to ask them stuff, so that's on them. But what I like is they actually take you through it and show you when you will do it, basketball wise. This is when this move, and this is when you would do this against this defender, this situation, so forth and so on. Same thing in football. If I want to work on a quick stab as a linebacker going against Gronk or Antonio Gates or Tony Gonzalez, I got to do it against somebody multiple times before I can display it in front of 90,000 people at Arrowhead Stadium.
Yeah. I can even bring this back to C2 football. I remember, because I'm playing tight end, you have that hook block. You always got to make sure you have that good first step. Pretty easy to do in practice when they're not really going 100%.
Yeah, or a dummy there. Oh, I got him. I would have crushed him.
And then you get a real game time, and you get a defensive end that knows he's got to get pressure. That hook block becomes 10 times harder, because they're coming right at you.
They bite back. They bite back, and they bite hard sometimes.
And whatever it is about practice, you can try to build that intensity, but game time is just different.
Right, but you gotta make practice like a game, and then you gotta make what you do in the off season like practice. So you're gaining reps, man. You gotta do it. You gotta compete. So work on your craft before camp and during camp. Number 5. This is for me, as a defender, I'm talking about from my experience, be the loudest and the clearest communicator before, during, and after every single play, every single series, every single game, every single practice. Like I said, there's no off days. You have to be, when you're practicing, you have to be in game mode. There is no practice mode. Like you gotta communicate. I always say the best defenses are the loudest and the most chatty, because this makes it, you're already at a disadvantage, because the offense knows where they're going. They know the snap count. They know where they're going. A lot of chances now, you can't get physical with them. So you gotta be able to communicate, and you got to be loud, and you got to be clear, and you got to communicate, especially as a linebacker, before, during, and after every single play in series and so forth and so on. That's what the great guys do. You just don't show up at a game and say, you know what, I'm gonna start talking to Harrison, because the way I talk to you as a defender, as a defensive line, and this is just not talking about X's and O's. How I try to give you a tip or motivate you or encourage you, or I guess hold you accountable or whatever, is a lot different than say I would, Gary Walker. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta, like with Gary Walker, I play with a defensive lineman. He's gonna push back at me then we almost got to fight. Then I know Gary's going to be like, all right, man, I got your back. You know what? You're right. You know what I'm saying? Whereas Seth Payne, who was a defensive tackle, wouldn't say very technical, but he really liked when I was working with him. So we both were successful and we both flourished, right? Number 6, before we go to break, prepare for the next day, the night before. The word, because I'm telling you, especially in camp, practices come early. High school, college, and pros. Study the night before so you can go to bed and say, you know what, I exhausted everything I needed to do with that. Make sure you have a morning routine or a night routine and a morning routine. You know, when you get up, when you go to bed, brush your teeth, all that stuff. Get all your like rehab and all that stuff done. Do it the night before because you don't want to be rushed. It's always said you don't want to start your day off like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're late to practice, you're late to taping, you're late out to practice. Now you're kind of now you're spinning your wheels.
Yeah, groggy because you stayed up too late watching TV.
Right. Oh, well, you need an extra 5 minutes of sleep because you don't want to, hydrate and fuel before practice. Well, then now you can't perform, and then you start to wake up at the end of practice. By that time, it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
Because you get in the game and you try to do that at the end, it's too late. The team is still, celebrating on your home field and cranking up the bus and going home victor. So that's my first 6. Again, study film, no off days, always stay ready, work on your craft before camp, communicate, be loud and clear, and then obviously prepare for the next day, night before. So we're going to take a quick break, come back inside the huddle, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging. We'll be right back.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with Taco Night on Mondays or Whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Hey, Nebraska football fans, it's defensive lineman Ty Robinson, and I've got a winning play for you with Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical. Team up with Action and install a new Bradford white water heater in your home. And if we win the conference championship this season, you'll get a full refund. Don't fumble this opportunity. Sack your old water heater this season and score big with Action. Visit actionlincoln.com/Huskers to learn more.
Promotion valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Are you looking for affordable drinks and a great atmosphere this football season? Highball Bar has you covered. Whether it's pregame tailgating, postgame festivities, or in-game celebrations, Highball Bar is the place to be. With $4 beers, $4 mixed drinks, and more during their 4 to 8 p.m. daily happy hour, Highball Bar will quickly become your go-to place to sit back, unwind, and be your team's #1 fan. Highball Bar, located in downtown Lincoln, just 3 blocks from Memorial Stadium at 122 North 11th Street.
MWR is dedicated to building attractive, affordable steel buildings that exceed your expectations. From commercial to residential to agricultural storage, steel buildings are cost-effective, attractive, and versatile. Plus, they're a lasting investment and an ideal choice. MWR uses Sentinel Building Systems out of Albion and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a steel building, post frame building, or fencing, give MWR a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to mwrbuildingandfence.com.
HealthLink is elevating the human experience with holistic health, weight loss, nutrition, fitness, and wellness solutions. They offer one-on-one health coaching while personalizing nutrition and wellness plans for structure and simplicity. HealthLink provides nutritious foods such as high-protein entrees, meal replacement snacks, and supplements. But that's not all. If you mention 93.7 The Ticket, you'll get a 5% discount on your order and $20 off your first month if you start a HealthLink subscription. Find your missing link with HealthLink today on the southeast corner of 70th and Pioneers or by phone at 402-858-9356.
Veterans, do you know what local, state, and federal benefits and services you're eligible to receive? Do you want help navigating the application or appeals process? Speak to your county veteran service officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office to see what's available to you and your family. You've served our country, now let us serve you. Visit veterans.nebraska.gov today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Everyone should have a collection of something. For some, it's stamps or coins, expensive cars, or even watches. But for a lot of people, it's sports cards. And there's no better way to grow your collection than with the help of Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's first and only collector-first sports cards and memorabilia shop. Capital City Sports Cards connects collectors of all ages and demographics with unique collectibles sure to bring any collection to life, no matter the budget. Visit Capital City Sports Cards near 56th and Old Cheney or through their eBay storefront. Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's premier sports card and memorabilia store.
Summer concerts keep rolling at Pinewood Bowl with a great show on Wednesday, August 21st. Blue October headlines a trifecta of artists with Switchfoot and Matt Nathanson starting things off. Don't miss Blue October, Switchfoot, and Matt Nathanson on Wednesday, August 21st at Pinewood Bowl. Get tickets today at Ticketmaster.com.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. You're listening to Inside the Huddle with Jay Foreman, sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging.
What up? We're back. Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging. Good show today, Harrison. We got hard out. We got the Royals coming on, and then Breeze is going to be on the way. You got to be on the stream, right?
Yeah, we'll be streaming only. So just some house cleaning here. 12 o'clock, we'll have the Royals on the brick and mortar, but you guys continue to watch the streams. We got shows all Sunday long. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X, Allo Channel 961. Great place to put a face to the voice. Comment through there as well.
There you go. Also, I'll be tweeting it out. September 6th, it's a meet and greet with national champions. Myself, Jason Peter, Grant Wistrom, 3 to 5:30 here, 3 to 5. We'll do an autograph session. It's $20 to get in, and then there'll be plenty of like jerseys and helmets to buy, take pictures and all that good stuff. And then we're going to do a little bit of a VIP hangout afterwards at the Highball from 8 to 10.
Right across the ticket.
Yeah, be some good stories and libations. We're about 8 to 9:30. That's $39. So
how did they get tickets for that?
I'll tweet it out. You can get out. Actually, I didn't even know I had a website. Ben does this for me up in Minnesota. jforeman44.com, and then it's sportslegendsusa.com. I'll tweet it out both on my own Twitter and on Inside the Huddle's Twitter and tag the ticket. So come on, man. 2 hours goes quick when you're signing autographs. So yeah. September 6th.
Follow Jay Foreman, probably the easiest way to get the quick updates on there.
That's right. But again, thanks for you guys listening to Inside the Huddle. Advanced Medical Imaging, we're going to turn it over to the stream while the Royals hopefully get a W. We'll holler at you next week.